Alright, haulers, hello and welcome back to Euro Truck Simulator 2. So again, we're doing something different this week. We are going to be driving this. This is, I believe, a Scania, I want to say G. Forgive me if I'm mistaken, it's one of those series, the 4. I saw these mods on the forums and I was like, ooh, I want to try that. So we're going to be making some in-city deliveries today with this thing. We're not going to be pulling a trailer. If you want to see me attempt to pull a trailer, let me know in the comments below, because I don't really want to do that. I don't have confidence in my skills with that. I really used to love doing this type of thing. I really want to see inner city small deliveries become a significant part of this game at some point in time. And so we're just going to be doing that. And yeah, we've got the truck decked out. It's in this nice metallic gray, although I think it's getting dark out, so we're not going to get to see too much of it. But it's a nice, clean, modern truck. And I kind of styled it as, if I was to run a company, this is what my trucks would look like. Clean, sleek, professional, and you know that. And obviously, not all of it fits kind of the very flashy European styles, but it's how I like it. And so let me know what you guys have for build, and that stuff is course. But let's go ahead and let's hit the road. And here we are in the cab. Very nice little cab. Don't have a lot in here. I really like having the little lights on the bottom. Really nice touch. I would love to be able to have different colors, but red's the only option. And yeah, overall, really nice, really nice truck. I would love to have something like this over here in the States. But we're going to go ahead and get rolling. If I remember to actually put it in gear, because I am an absolute professional. But we have a lot to cover today from the last couple of weeks. We're going to make our way out into the roadway here, nice and slow. Got to remember how long this thing is now. Got quite a turning radius to it. And I do apologize if I sound a little bit hoarse. I don't know what I did. Somehow I've managed to destroy my voice, so it's not necessarily being my best friend today. And we'll just have to kind of deal with it as it is. But we have to go left here. As soon as we get through this intersection, we will continue on to the other stuff. Little fast, my bad. But yeah, so most of you guys probably already know, but for those that don't, earlier this well, I guess last weekend, something like that, on the 18th, I went to something called the Extreme International Ice Racing, and it's not I guess it's multiple events across the US. I don't know where else they do it, but they did it here in Maine, down in Portland, so I went to see that with some good high school friends. Hadn't seen them in forever, so that was awesome to get to meet up with those guys again. But I'll throw up some video and picture to give you guys an idea of what it is. It's probably the most redneck thing you'll ever see, where it's just a bunch of dudes ripping on the ice in trikes and ATVs and dirt bikes. And well, I guess they're not really dirt bikes, but the little kids had like little mini dirt bikes, which I thought were sick. Alright, my turn signal has broken somehow. That's hilarious. But yeah, so that was a lot of fun, and thankfully they kept the show going. We did end up getting a snowstorm that day, which dropped, I think, 6 to 8 inches of snow. So I don't remember how much that is in meters, I apologize, or centimeters, but it was enough to cause serious issues for me, because I don't have a good vehicle to drive in the snow. The vehicle that we have is a tiny little car that very much does not like the snow, and we don't have snow tires with studs in them, so that was a no-go. Ended up staying at one of those friends' house overnight, and just to give you an idea of how bad it made the roads, or at least how bad this thing handles, even on the way home I struggled. So I was there a full 12 plus hours, and by the time I left it was, early morning time, and the roads had still not gotten any better. The highways were okay, because obviously the highway crews are always going, but some of the smaller roads, I mean, it was it was fun. But yeah, so I ended up going to that, had a great time. There was some really cool people there too. It turns out they were actually filming for Orange County Choppers. And because of that, there was a guy that was sitting right next to us, and I swear to God, he could have been the world's best lookalike for Paul Tittle Sr., who is like, I think, the owner of Orange County Choppers. Whoops, sorry for being a little bit over the road, that's my fault. Trying to get used to how this thing handles. I haven't actually driven it yet. You are seeing me drive it for the first time. But I have driven these before, so do keep that in mind. But yeah, so he could have been the best, like, Paul Tittle Sr. lookalike ever. I mean, from, 10 feet away, he looked exactly like him. And once you got up close, you could tell it wasn't him, but I asked him, and he was joking with me. He's like, oh, man. He's like, at the last event, everyone thought that. And so that was a lot of fun. And that guy was awesome. So shout out to, he's not going to see this video, but shout out to that guy because that was cool. Actually, I should mention, too, it was really nice. I was on my way down to Portland. Obviously, I have to travel quite a distance to get down to Portland. And so I was on the highway. And in order to get to where I was going, I have to pay 2 tolls, highway tolls. And coming through, just before the second one, I passed this Audi. I guess it must have been a veteran, too, because he had, like, veteran plates on. And so that was cool, I guess. But passed him, and I was just doing my thing. Merged over because I realized, like, we have Easy Pass, which is like when you just drive through a toll, you don't have to stop and hand them cash. But we hadn't gotten ours yet. Like, ours just got, we just got all the stuff we need for it. Okay, turn signal. I'm gonna need you to not. My turn signal is not being my friend today. Whoa, this is interesting. Damn, not a lot of room to move over there. But yeah, our Easy Pass, it's a little unit that goes in your car, for those that don't know, if you're overseas or whatever. I'm assuming you guys probably have them overseas, but it goes like on the windshield or in your car, and then when you drive through, it just automatically detects, and then you pay it through a separate thing. And ours we hadn't gotten ours yet, so I had to pay cash. So I moved over, because that means you have to get all the way to the right lane and get over to pay cash. And so I moved over. The Audi comes up on my left side, realizes that we're coming up on the tolls and that he has to move over, and there's a guy in front of me, and there's not a lot of room between him and I, so the Audi signals to move in to where I was. So technically there was enough room he would have fit, but it would have been really, really tight. So I just friendly backed off and gave him some room and let him move over. And when he pulled in front of me, I saw him, like, he flashed his taillights once, so he just, like, lightly tapped the brake once. Not enough to slow down, but enough to trigger your brake light. And I was like, that's interesting. So either he's actually braking, or he's signaling to me a thank you, or something like that. And when we got up to the tolls, he actually paid my toll ahead for me. So that was awesome. He, it turns out, he went up, paid the lady, and then I pulled up behind him, and she's like, no, dear, you're good. He paid ahead for you. I was like, oh, that is awesome. So that was a really nice thing. I almost never have anyone do that, so it was definitely a pay it forward kind of thing. Now I need to do that for somebody, because that was awesome. Didn't have the opportunity to do it on the way home, as there was literally no one behind me. No one wanted to be out on the roads. But overall, I had a great time. A lot of cool little things. Like I said, they had, come on, turn signal. Yo. I don't know why, but the steering feels a little loose on this truck. I think I have it set wrong. But there was, like, what, ATVs, there was trikes, there was these old, like, to me, they reminded me of, like, the old Indian motorcycles that they used in the military, but I don't know exactly what they were. I'm not very well versed on that front. And then they had a bunch of little kids from all over. A lot of these people were out of state, or, like, there was one guy from Australia and one guy from the UK, which was really cool. But the little kids had, like, little mini dirt bikes. They were decked out in, like, mini biker gear. It was the coolest thing I've ever seen. Like, man, where was that stuff when I was little? I was out eating dirt, for Christ's sake. I wasn't having any of that fun. So I thought that was awesome. And then part of it, too, was they have audience members come down out of the stands. And I think they do it 2 or 3 times. And they had someone that had, like, their little electric bikes. So they're not fast enough for you to get hurt, but they're still fast enough that, you know, you're doing your thing, you're going around. So what they do is they have 4 people come down at a time. I think one time they did all guys, one time they did all girls, and then they did half and half, I think. Something like that. And that was funny to watch, because literally they're just pulling people from the stands, and one lady just couldn't get hers to go. She like tried to stand up and carry it, and then ate it. She fell on the floor, and yeah, it was pretty funny. And one other thing that surprised me, one of the presenters was an Australian girl, which that ended up being kind of funny, because when they were doing this little thing where they had all the people down to do it, she said, and I quote, "Well, be careful, we don't want any trips to A&E." And A&E, as far as I know, means like hospital. It's the Australian way of saying hospital. I don't know what exactly. Bro, what are you doing? Damn. Okay. Speaking of going to A&E. What the hell, dude? No, don't come up here. Give me some space. Don't hit me again. What are you doing? You need to move, sir. What was that? Damn. Alright. I was holding on the brakes as hard as I could, but I couldn't stop. That dude, he couldn't care less. Alright. Well, that was interesting. Yeah, but she said we don't want any trips to A&E. And like I said, as far as I know, A&E means hospital, just because I've always been surrounded by Australian content, like on YouTube or elsewhere. I'm a little more versed in global stuff. And it was hilarious because I got to watch all my American friends look at me in confusion, and everyone in the audience, like, get so confused as to what was going on. And it's just like, it's funny because in that moment you realize how many people very much just live in their own little world and don't get the opportunity to, you know, meet other people from overseas or stuff like that. That's the best thing I think about doing YouTube, is all the people you meet. I mean, it's very strange to me, the concept that 2 of my biggest supporters, at least recently and for the most time on my channel, have been from Poland and the UK respectively. And that's just like, as an American, that's a weird concept, because I don't know these people, I don't know who they are. All I know is that they're overseas, and obviously I know some about these people. Like, I'm not, like, some of them I'm friends with, some of them I'm not, stuff like that. But just the fact that someone who is that far away is supporting, you know, me, that's just weird on so many levels for whatever reason to me. But it's very funny to me watching everyone, like, get so confused in that moment when she said that. So that was definitely cool. Had some fried dough from the concession stand. That was awesome. I missed fried dough. One thing was, in the town that I grew up in, the biggest thing that used to happen every year was the fair. We used to have the fairgrounds come in, or we had fairgrounds, so we used to have the fair come to town. And that was literally, like, that was the event of the year. That nothing else, like, I mean, I guess homecoming and like the high school stuff, because it's a small town, you know, stuff like that. But this was very much the thing that I did. I never had any of that high school stuff because I ended up going to a different high school, as most of you guys know. But yeah, that was something that I hadn't really had fried dough since the last like proper fair. So that was cool. He's got his turn signal on, so I think we're good to go. Oh gosh, this thing handles so much differently than the regular trucks. And I feel like, yeah, I feel like the steering, I think I've got a dead zone on the steering somehow. That's probably my fault. Well, no, it is my fault, not probably. But yeah, no, awesome, totally awesome event. So much cool stuff. Didn't get any merch. They were like, oh, we're gonna throw merch into the audience and this and that, and they threw like a hat. I was like, are you serious? just one hat. All right, well, I guess that's that. But yeah, no, it was very cool. And so once we got out of that event, I ended up, like I said, I went to stay at a friend's place, crashed on his couch for the night, just because it was snowing too bad. And then this friend actually owns his own company. Dude's nuts. He's younger than me by a little bit. And he owns his own house and, you know, stuff like that. Like, owns his own house, owns his own company. Like, this dude, Like, he's killing it right now. And so I went out with him and got to spend the morning plowing, snow plowing. And for those that aren't in snow countries or snow states, obviously, I'm assuming everyone knows what a snowplow is. But I was explaining to a couple of friends of mine that don't understand how, like, the little details. When you're snow plowing, if you hit a snowbank and you hit it too hard, or if it's ice underneath and you can't see it, it'll stop your truck really hard, so you lurch forward in your seat. And it will choke you with the seatbelt. And a buddy of mine, Eric, said to me, he's like, well, you guys know Eric, he's like, man, you do that enough times, you'll like choke yourself out. And I was like, well, you gotta have some kind of excitement while you're plowing, right? I was like, nah, I don't literally mean that. I just thought it was a funny joke. Obviously, just because I thought it was funny doesn't mean anyone else will, but I entertain myself, okay? That's how I spend my days. But overall, that was awesome. Really just enjoyed snow plowing. It's nice to, like, I didn't really do crap. I did a little bit of shoveling, but it's funny because the little bit of shoveling I did made me realize just how out of shape I am and how much I need to get back out and into the world, because holy crap, did I feel that for a couple of days. That, like, I don't know why, but for whatever reason too, I haven't actually, like, ever gotten, not a diagnosis, but something we've been looking at for a long time is I have lower back issues. Like, I'm a really young guy. It makes no sense for me to have lower back issues. But for whatever reason, if I'm doing anything that requires, like, lifting or bending, I can only do so much before I'm in, like, agonizing pain. And that definitely played a role in that sort of thing. Obviously, Obviously, I still got it done. Like, I didn't, like, pussy out and not do it. I was there to help, and that was fun. But it definitely makes an impact on how you do things, and I definitely felt it for a while. So hopefully at some point I'll figure something out with that and find some kind of a solution, but we'll have to see. But we're going to go ahead, we're going to pull up here, we're going to make our drop for the morning, and I think we've got one more drop after this, and then hopefully we'll be good. We will see if we have to transfer anything, we might. So we'll go ahead and we'll pull up right here and be right back. Alright, and there we go. So we've gone ahead and we've made our drops. Go ahead and get the truck started. We do not have another one. We are just heading up to Stockholm to rest for a little bit, and then we will be hauling some stuff from there later today. So let's go ahead and let's get rolling. But back to what we were talking about with the snow plowing. Obviously, that was a lot of fun. One thing that kind of surprised me, I was shoveling someone's property, their porch to be exact, and I was sitting there, I heard sound like a rumbling, almost like a really heavy, almost a diesel or a jet engine. I'm like, what is that noise? I don't understand what that noise is, because it was something that, it just sounded weird, and I didn't realize it because it was muffled by the trees. But it sounded like it powered down, like it was slowing, and I was like, oh, it must be a jet. So I'm looking for this jet. I don't see it, but it's getting louder and louder and louder. I'm like, there's no way a jet's gonna be that low. I mean, you think about how loud it was, it would have had to have been, you know, really, really low for me to not be able to see it. And all of a sudden, just in the trees on my side, a train just goes by. Just a casual freight train, no horn, no nothing. I get why, it was like 3 a.m. in the morning. But, oh, I realize now I have my automatic turn signal turn off in this truck. That I don't normally drive with. That's why I keep hitting that, so I apologize. Yeah, so that caught me completely off guard. I thought that was really, really funny. It was really cool seeing the train, but that was definitely interesting. Overall, I mean, it was cold out, though. It was, I mean, I can't really complain. I know it's been way, way colder in Canada. I know people that have been in like minus 55 and stuff like that, and that's in Celsius. So, although I guess minus 55 is probably really close to Fahrenheit. They're almost the same. Minus 55 Fahrenheit and minus 55 Celsius must be pretty close to each other. I don't know exactly right now off the top of my head, but yeah. So I can't really complain, but for me it was cold, especially since most of my time is spent indoors and not out in the snow. The nicest thing about it was the snow was light and fluffy, so there was really no weight to it. It was not heavy, it was not wet, it was nothing like that, which was awesome. Really nice, really easy to clean up. And overall, just a great time getting to see friends that I hadn't seen in literally years and you know, stuff like that. Didn't really get to do as much catching up as I wanted to. I mean, we went to an event to watch the event, and most of us split and went, you know, most of them went home from there. But I'm hoping that I can spend some more time this summer really getting down there and chilling with those guys, because, you know, it's just a really great group of guys that, you know, obviously all of us are on very different paths, but we have very similar, like, wants in life. And it's been nice being able to have people you can rely on for stuff. I mean, I have people that, you know, I've known for most of my life that have suddenly turned around and done the equivalent of stabbing me in the back, and to have that happen, and that really kind of stun. I'm not gonna say who or what, but I've had some people that I was really close to, I mean, that I've known over half my life, that have proven their worth and proven what they're doing, and in turn turned around and kind of stabbed me in the back and shown that I was very much being used by this person. And that's the thing, is this is going to be some very real talk, so if you're not into that kind of stuff, you know, probably time to turn away now. But I try to be open about these things as much as I can, and yeah, basically showed to me that I was just there for this person to use me. You know, they would copy every single thing I did and then try and say, oh, no, I didn't, or, oh, I'll change it in a little while, or, you know, blah, 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 and that sort of thing. I used to be really good friends with this person, and they've just kind of, you know, that's the toughest thing about YouTube, is there's a lot of people who talk the talk but don't walk the walk, and that's what I'm trying really hard not to be. I'm actually here posting content, which already puts me above a majority of people who are trying to do YouTube. I've been doing this for long enough, though, that it's not as big of an issue. But, you know, you see it all the time, that people that, like, for one thing, if you're a streamer, don't join a streaming team unless you're actually going to be, you know, doing something with it. What happens is, I see these people all the time. They'll join a stream team, or they'll join a group of people and try and start doing this or that, or, you know, these little creative groups. And there are some of them that are really cool and do some really cool things. But then there's some where it's just a matter of fluffy numbers. It's like, I'll subscribe to you if you subscribe to me, and blah, blah, blah. That's not, like, at the end of the day, the subscriber count doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Obviously, it's important, because it's those people saying, hey, I like your content enough to stick around. But at the end of the day, that's not what's gonna do what it, like, that's not what matters to YouTube, or, you know, things like that, to get your content out there. And, you know, that's kind of from the business perspective of it. I don't want to talk down the importance of subscribers and that stuff. Like, that's something that's always been important to me. But if I have someone come to me and say, I'll subscribe to you if you subscribe to me, then what that does is they subscribe to me, and guess what? My number goes up by 1, but they're not going to actually watch the content. So it doesn't matter. They're not actually interested in the content. They're not interested in me. They could care less who I am. It just doesn't make sense to me why people do these things. But I've dealt with a lot of that lately, where people say, like, imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. No, it's honestly the most frustrating thing on the face of the earth. To me, like, when I have people that are too unoriginal and too lazy to make their own content, so they just start copying exactly what I'm doing, down to the little details. Like, when I made my second channel, there was people that started, I don't want to say people, but, you know, there was someone who started copying me with that, you know, stuff like that. And I'm trying really hard to make this my own, and to have people copying me just really doesn't sit well, you know? It's like, one of the biggest things I see is, you know, people who re-upload content from montages or stuff like that, but make a new montage out of it. There's people like, what's his name, Himbo Hero, that does it for Rooster Teeth. As long as it's not monetized, and as long as, you know, you're actually doing something with it, you know, that's where I could care less. But if I'm doing something and then you're just blatantly like copy and pasting it, like that's just, don't do that to people. That's just obnoxious and rude and shows that you're lazy and unoriginal. But it's frustrating because I know these people, I know who they are, I know the truth now, and no one else is gonna see that. You know, I've dealt with that a lot in life. And very, very frustrating. And obviously this is more of a rant than anything, but it's something that, you know, I want to make very clear. You know, I have very little tolerance for people who are just here to use me. So that's why I'm so hesitant to do stuff with other creators, because, you know, it's hard to find other creators who are genuinely passionate about it and are there because they want to, you know, share ideas or collaborate or do things like that, versus creators who are just there to steal your ideas, to use you to you know, make them popular, or, you know, stuff like that. And like, don't get me wrong, you know, if you're taking a little bit of something you've learned from someone here and something you've learned from someone here and making it your own, that's fine. But don't like blatantly copy and paste other people's stuff. That's just, it's so rude and inconsiderate. And it's just like, how people can do that so blatantly, I don't know at all. But like I said, I'm not gonna say like who these people are or anything like that. I don't want to give them any airtime. I'm just talking one-on-one with you guys about what's going on, because it's definitely frustrating, and I'm not having it anymore. It just sucks, especially like when you find out you're being used. It's not. It's like when you get into a car accident. It's not the speeding that kills you, it's the sudden stop. When you find out you're being used, it's not the time you were being used that hurts as much as finding out and now knowing that you were being used, kind of a deal. Does this guy not have his headlights on, or they're very dim? All right. So that's just like, and obviously this is not some poor me like game like that. It's just, this is what I'm going through. I try to be kind of open with the things I'm feeling, the things I'm dealing with, just so that maybe we can connect on some level. And if you guys are having issues, by all means, join the Discord. And, you know, obviously, you know, things like suicide and that's not going to be welcome in my Discord. You know, that's just not, I can't handle that personally anymore. But, yeah, if you guys want to talk about things or anything along those lines, by all means, join. And there's definitely a place to have those conversations. And I want to just be able to connect with people who are interested in YouTube and that sort of thing. Obviously, I'm not some massive creator, but this is something that's very dear to me, very important to me. And when there's so many people that don't take it seriously, I think having someone that you know that takes it seriously and is willing to sit back and listen makes all the difference. And so that's my challenge to you guys for this year. Take a little more effort and put it into listening to your friends, or making sure that they're good and supporting them in whatever they're doing. You might think it's stupid, but, you know, if it's the world to them, they don't need you talking them down, you know? Obviously, I'm not saying, oh, your friend wants to do meth, go help them get the meth and stuff like that. That's not good. But definitely put more effort into trying to support people and that sort of thing. And obviously, you can only stretch yourself so much. Right now, I would love to spend more time watching the streamers I love, but I'm too busy here making my own content. You got to find some kind of middle ground. And so there's that too. Do keep that in mind. But yeah, I think that's going to be it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this little different, you know, scenario with taking the delivery truck out. Like I said, if you guys want to see me haul a extra trailer on the back and see if I can back that up, let me know. That's not going to go well, I can tell you that now. If you have other mods or anything you want to see me try out, again, also let me know that. I'm hoping, I think I saw someone did a Cybertruck at some point. So we'll maybe see about trying that. And, you know, go from there on that sort of thing. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed the video, go ahead and leave a like. If you didn't, you know what to do. If you really, really liked it, please consider subscribing. And you can always hit that notification bell to get notified every single time I upload. In the description below, you can find links to my Discord if you'd like to join and hang out with the crew, my Patreon if you'd like to support me further, and my social media, or you can search me up at Longhauler GMG on Snapchat, Twitter, Twitch, and Instagram. And as always, I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.